Hello all. Happy holidays. Game Methuselah here. I'm going to wrap up the end of the year and give myself a present. I'm going to allow myself to sit down and paint some of my bolt action Polish troops. I really want to get this army finished before the end of the year, and Bolt Action's a really good game, and I really enjoy playing it. To that end, I bought myself some presents for Christmas. When you're out shopping for others, invariably you need to stumble onto things where you can find some things you want. And I give really good presents, well, to me. So I found this for Bolt Action. It is the Western Desert campaign, and it comes with a really cool Rommel miniature. Now, I don't play the Africa Corps, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the Rommel miniature other than paint it. He's, if you do not know, was a very, very impressive general and an impressive man overall. Tried to assassinate Hitler, along with that group that failed. But he was really interesting, and you can sort of always judge a man's value by how he is respected by his enemies. I had a friend who served with distinction over in the Middle East in an armored unit, and one of his men down line picked up a lot of prisoners when they overran an Iraqi unit. And as they were putting them into an APC and taking them back, obviously out of harm's way behind lines, an Iraqi officer noted, he goes, "You have a picture of Erwin Rommel on your wall. He was your enemy. Why do you have his picture here?" And the commander of the vehicle just looked over and said, "Did you read his book?" And the officer said, "No." And he goes, "Well, that's why you're sitting in the back of my APC." If you read a lot about what he was able to do with what little he had, it's pretty impressive. My wife got me a new Day of the Dead Sugar Skulls shirt. You'll get to see it more likely in my next video. It's really beautiful. I really like it. You guys all know I like skull shirts. I think this is my 8th one. So I'm looking forward to wearing that. I've been getting some WizKids items. This is a really, really cool one. This is a gelatinous cube. Reaper Bones makes one, and I have that, and it's pretty cool. But this one, I think, is even better because it does some kind of interesting thing. It's hard plastic, just a cube like a gelatinous cube. It has an inside piece with little things you can paint, little skeletons and treasure bits and things you can find once you kill it. But it also has this gap in here that just happens to fit a human-sized miniature. So when your character gets swallowed up by the gelatinous cube, you can just put his character inside the gelatinous cube, put it back on the table, and let him fight his way out. And that's always fun. WizKids is putting out a lot of nice figures. The interesting thing, too, is everything seems to be $4.99, no matter what it is. Gelatinous cube was, you get a pair of heroes, they are. If you're not familiar with them, you should look them up. They're really good. They're really inexpensive. They're beautifully cast. They're plastic, as you know, not my favorite. But I think as you get into it more and more, I think plastics are going to be the way. And I think that's what's going to be more prevalent in the future. It also keeps the price down, which is advantageous. As I was waiting to go see Spider-Man's Into the Spider-Verse the other day, I had some time, and I went into one of my favorite places, Barnes & Noble, hoping to just see what they had. I could not resist this. I found this book on their discount rack, and it's pretty incredible. World of Mythology. At first, it didn't seem like much, but it was heavy. It's over 500 pages. It's written by Arthur Cottenfeld and Rachel Storm. I might have butchered both of their names. It's by Hermes House Press. I assume they're small. I didn't really look them up, and I should have, and I apologize. But when I looked through it, I said, oh, it's got some beautiful pictures. It's really nice. It's got some maps. It's got some great stuff. But, of course, I flipped to the front to see what the content was. Well, Greek mythology. What a surprise. Myths of the Celtic world. Wait a minute. That's Albion. I flipped to the section on Albion, and it's stunning. Almost 90 pages of maybe the best primer for Celtic mythology and history that you're ever going to get. It's written like a game manual. It's amazing. I started to go through all the different ones that were here, and they give you the heroes and the gods and the the family trees of the gods and heroes and kings. It has monsters. It has treasures. It has magic that went through them. Just in the Celtic world, it lists the sage and seers, wondrous cauldrons, the Celtic otherworld. That's the fairy realms. All the things you really need to run a campaign, and it has 6 different campaigns here. If you want to run Norse mythology, it's here. They have myths of South and Central Asia, which is very cool. Myths of Eastern Asia are also here. Of course, they have Egypt and the Western Asias. People have asked me why I love running campaigns sort of in the real world and running these mythological ages. I'd love to run like the Norse mythology. It would be awesome. The reason is it's easy for everyone to sort of relate to. Everyone understands Norse. If you watched an episode of Vikings on History Channel, you sort of get the idea of what's going on. Same thing with Albion. I mean, you could talk about the fairies and the realms, but if you have any knowledge of Celtic history, there's lots in here. Greek mythology, plenty of movies, plenty of books. A lot of people have seen it. The great thing about it is it provides you everything you need. There's maps in here, so you have an entire map of England and Ireland, which is Albion. It lists the major cities by what they were called during the Celtic world, so you have all of that information. You can then just add all the other elements, the fairy world, in amongst your adventure from me. It's really something quite special. The great thing about it, if nothing else, it's a great primer and primer for your players. If you're running a Greek mythology game, you just give them this and say, go ahead and read anything you want. You now understand the world. They understand the gods and their relationship to each other and the various conflicts and alike. Now, Barnes & Noble is not giving me any money. Neither is WizKids or even Warlord and Osprey. So I've got no reason to give you any BS. These things are very useful. If you haven't played Bolt Action and you love World War II, it's a lot of fun. It's very simple. It's very pretty. It's not trying to be super grognard detailed, but it's fun to play, and it's 54 millimeters, so it's the same scale as your D&D figures. So sometime down the road, if you want to run, I don't know, British 8th Army versus zombies, you've got the figures. WizKids is doing great because I love things that are inexpensive and allow people to get into miniatures and paint ahead of time. Plus, they do a lot of the clears in different colors. So does the Reaper Bones. And those are really great for using for ethereals and things like that. But for books and stuff, you can't go wrong. There's a lot of things to read. And the more you can read, the more you'll really enjoy running your games. Now, I just want to thank you all who have watched videos and followed me or subscribed, and I really have an appreciation for my patrons who've thrown a few bucks my way to just help me stay motivated out here. But 2018 was pretty bleak. What I really enjoyed was doing the videos for you guys. It was a lot of fun. I've got a lot of really good feedback and met some really interesting people. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing more of you in the future. Come the first of the year, I think we're going to rent a space so I can have ongoing gaming events, tournaments, seminars, dungeon boot camps, painting, all that going on. If nothing else, just open gaming. That'll be down somewhere in Orange County near Disneyland, I think. The other thing we're kind of looking at is potentially having a game cruise. My wife and I have had some experience doing 3 or 4 cruises for Natural Health, where she'll go on the thing to someplace, Mexico, Alaska, wherever, and do educational seminars on natural health. And in the meantime, you get to enjoy the cruise, have great dinner. It becomes a nice lot of fun. And she mentioned, this would really be cool to do with one of your game groups. You get a lot of people who are following you, want to be into gaming. It gives them a chance to have a vacation. Well, there's lots of places to sit down and game. Miniature games, board games, and symposiums and things on how to can all be done on the cruise while you're having a nice vacation. It allows you to drag the wife along, or maybe somebody who might want to come along who you're trying to suck into gaming. And it could be fun. Now, none of these are etched in stone. We're looking into all this right now. So I will give you more information as it goes. For those who, by the way, have followed me on the Manager of Animal Care Services for the City of Long Beach, there were 78 applicants. I did not make the top 10. What a surprise. I do appreciate the fact that everyone sent in messages to the mayor. In fact, his office contacted me and said, please, please, please stop. You're bombing us with emails. So thank you for those who supported me on this. But interestingly enough, I spoke before the city council, And I spoke to the advisory board, and I told them, I said, look, we can turn it into a no-kill shelter without a very big problem. The issue is you have done pitiful marketing with this, and no one even knows what the shelter is. And without better marketing and promotion and salesmanship involved, you're not going to find people to come adopt these animals. And that's what we need. Ways to fundraise, events and things like that. You need someone who can do the marketing and get you out there for it. And I think that's really important and what I'm going to be looking to do when I was manager of animal care services, which I'm not going to be. But interestingly enough, at the last meeting, they announced they're going to hire a marketing manager to basically promote the shelter. So guess who's going to apply and push to get that position? I'll let you know on that as it goes on in the future. So we'll see how it goes. I just wanted to bring these to your attention, especially that book on mythology. If you have not been to Barnes & Noble, if you have not seen it, look this book up, look up reviews. It was $13.95 on discount at Barnes & Noble. I'm sure they could use your sale, and I think you'll be inspired, if even for your campaign and what you're doing. But maybe you want to say, hey, you know what? I might like to do a Chinese complex with the dragons and the interesting, 7 immortals or 8 immortals. I don't remember how many immortals they were. So if you like that, this is a great way to get started. So enjoy your holiday. I sure am going to try to. I'm going to pull out the paintbrushes and really go at the painting this next week, and unfortunately get dragged to some family. I'm sure I'll have a wonderful time at whatever family events I go to. But until we have a chance to speak about real stuff, which is important, like gaming, fight me devils fight, for I hate peace. I'll see you next year. Game on.